Hi, I just wanted to welcome all of you to hell. The sky right now is doing some stuff. And if you're not into astrology and you think all of this is bananas and you're like, the planets can't affect me, okay, cool. But did you notice that everything around you is kind of like a trash heap of a dumpster fire right now? Do you feel maybe like a little heavier than usual? Maybe some people coming up from your past, maybe having to focus on some really heavy stuff in your life right now, some really big choices that are feeling almost immeasurably urgent, and you're feeling like there's a lot of confusion and miscommunication, and you're so tired all the time, and you need a million more cups of coffee to stay awake, and then you spill almost every one of those cups of coffee. And now I'm an accident prone person, but my God, the spilling that has been happening, not just with me, everyone's just spilling stuff, forgetting meetings, transportation is late. That's a lot of that's on Mercury retrograde. And also people coming in from your past. There's probably been exes and lovers, ex-lovers and stuff reaching out to you, or you've had the urge to reach out to them, and all these weird coincidences, and your technology's messing up. It took me like 10 minutes to load a PDF on my laptop the other day, and that was fun. And you're probably late for a lot of things recently, and yeah, a lot of stuff's going on. So the full moon tonight in Capricorn, there's a partial lunar eclipse. Now that already is heavy, because even a full moon alone can be a really heavy and emotional time. If you think about the fact that the moons shift the tides of immensely large bodies of water a few times on a daily basis, and the fact that we're made of such a large percentage of water, it's gonna shift things. It's gonna create this kind of misplaced energy and confusion, and this pent up, something's probably feeling pretty pent up inside of you right now, and like everything has to be decided right now, and it's urgent. It feels urgent. It feels like it's physically pushing you, but also the decisions don't feel easy. It's gonna be a time of letting go, and you're probably gonna notice a lot more fights with friends, in relationships, with family members. You're gonna be noticing a lot of internal fights within yourself. Maybe you've been holding on to old patterns that you've been clinging to because they feel comfortable and safe, and maybe the choices that you've been making have been stopping you from being able to grow and evolve and be the best version of yourself. The Capricorn sign, even though it's feminine, it has a very father-like quality to it. It's stern. It wants you to achieve, and if you're actively or even subconsciously doing things in your life that are holding you back from that, this is going to be the time that those issues really come to the forefront, and you're going to feel really overwhelmed. You're probably dealing with a lot of confusing feelings, and the literal embodiment of the angel and the devil on the shoulder saying, like, you can't let go of that. You can't break up with that person. You can't quit that job. You can't stop talking to that friend. You can't move. You're like this feeling of everything needs to stay, and your patterns are okay, and you're probably turning towards more substances, more mindless television, ways to deflect, and they're not working in the same way, and people's energies and the miscommunication, and there's like an added sort of hostility that's out there that's misguided, misdirected, misplaced, doesn't know where to go. It doesn't, especially if you're someone who sorry if I'm rambling. Blame the moon. And so, now I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, so there's going to be a lot of energy that's inside of you and that's building. And if you're someone who's used to deflecting when things get hard and not going inside but looking for things outside, it's going to be a really difficult time for you, because everything is telling you that the stuff you need to do, you know, and it's going to feel almost like a physical pain, and you're gonna feel it. Like it's not gonna be easy, but the way to look at it, it can be really positive. It's gonna be a difficult time, but it's gonna allow you to grow so much. This is the time of the Phoenix. This is the time that you can become absolutely everything that you need to be, if you can let go of the stuff that you keep holding on to. If it isn't working, if something's not working, this is the time that it has to change. If something's not serving you, if you feel like you're not fulfilled, or if something's blocking you from being the person that you absolutely need to be, this is the time that everything's gonna push you into making that choice. And it's not gonna feel like a choice. It's gonna feel like the only option. It's gonna feel like a weight on you. And that combined with, you know, all of the planets doing their thing right now, which is, it might seem mean, it's heavy, it's gonna be a very transformative period, and it's gonna feel dark and it's gonna feel intense. But then if you go through it and you learn your lessons and you let go of the habits and the patterns and the people and situations that are not serving you, then you're going to be able to blossom. It's in order to have a breakthrough, you need to properly go through the breakdown. You have to go into the darkest parts of your psyche, and you have to say, what am I willing to change? And then you're going to have to actually do something about it. This isn't the time to say, okay, I'm feeling really intensely that this isn't working, but I'm sure things will change. You have to say, okay, well, how are they going to change? Either you cut it loose, or you go, oh, what isn't working? What can I do to alter the state of this relationship? You know, and it's hard to sever ties, especially, let's say, if it's a family member or something, you know, that can't be easy. And sometimes it's people that you're going to have to deal with. So you go, okay, well, what can I do? And what can we do to change the way that the relationship is working, or change how things are happening so that I can be happier and I can feel more. It looks like with the shadow, my face is eclipsing at the moment. It's stupid. But yeah, you're gonna feel a lot. This is gonna be a very confusing, a very heavy time. And so be gentle to yourself right now. Like, give yourself the time you need and the space you need to digest and to process what it is that you want, and what is holding you back, and what's making you feel like you're suffocating. Because I'm sure a lot of people right now feel like they're suffocating, and things that you're trying to say aren't coming out right. You're not really making sense of your feelings. Everything feels like flip-floppy, you know, like happy and yeah, I've got this 1 second, and then the next second everything feels heavy and impossible, and like you're falling apart. And it's a transformative period. It's going to be a time that really, really tests you and says, are you going to do what's right for you? Are you ready to grow up? Are you ready to start being selfish in a way that is positive, and stop being selfish in a way that hurts people? You know, it's gonna be a difficult time, and there's a lot of empathy and patience is going to be required for yourself and for others. You know, you're not the only one going through something. And if you're one of the lucky few, I know that there's a few people in my life that are really thriving right now. If you're one of those lucky few, then that's incredible, and do that. But yeah, you have to be willing to go down to the source of things and say, what needs to change, because it's gonna feel like it needs to change right now, and it's gonna feel so heavy, but then it'll feel lighter, and it's gonna be a while. So right now, I'm sorry if I'm scaring you. You should be scared. The moon right now is intense. Yes, it's a big transformative moon, but Mercury is in retrograde until the end of July, and then it's in its shadow period until early August. Chiron, Mercury, I believe I explained a bit. It's like communication messing up and technology, people coming from your past. It's the you spilling stuff and the general fogginess of things, showing up late, sleeping in. That's a lot of Mercury in retrograde behaving because Mercury rules communication and transportation and intellect, and it's gonna feel foggy, and but it's gonna be a time where you have to go to these, I don't know, you have to just take time for yourself. Just take time for yourself, be patient, you'll make it through, and don't text that person. Just don't. You're gonna find like, oh, you know, I'm sure my ex changed, or you're gonna feel this desire to reach out to that person you slept with 5 years ago or something, and you're probably getting some messages from people that you're like, what? Don't engage. Just don't engage. Don't do it. And if this is a time that leads to breakups, or if it leads to quitting jobs or moving or making really big choices in your life, then it's gonna be really hard, but it's for the best if it's happening right now, and it's usually pretty permanent. It's usually something that you know your self-worth right now, or you're trying to learn your self-worth right now, and you're gonna know what it takes to be authentic or not. And if you're in a situation where you are fighting with your partner and stuff, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna end in a breakup, or if you're having trouble at your job, doesn't necessarily mean that you're gonna quit. But you have to acknowledge that there are blockages there, and there's things that are not working for you and not helping you. And you're gonna have to really look at your situation and go, what needs to change in order for me to be happy? And that's always something we should be asking ourselves, but we're gonna be forced to now. And so if it's, okay, we need to talk more, or we need to increase the quality of communication, or I need to give more affection, or I need to show more affection to myself and to give myself more time, or if it's about, you know, being more responsive to each other's needs, or understanding that person's perspective, because maybe you have a specific love language that they don't understand what you need, and they love in a different way and receive love in a different way, and just being able to talk about that and work through that. Because the worst thing that you can do right now, if you're feeling unfulfilled in your relationships or your situation or your job, is to keep things going as they are. Something has to change if you're feeling bad. And whether that means completely going, okay, it's over, I'm moving on, or if it's going, okay, well, what do I do? What do I do to make this work? And if it doesn't seem like there is anything, there's your answer. But if it seems like there's stuff that can really help your situation, then it's about that. But this moon's really about transforming and letting go. So if you're not letting go of something in its entirety, then it's about letting go of the pieces of it that no longer serve you, and transforming those so that you can transform yourself and be beautiful butterflies. You can either die a caterpillar in this retrograde season and under this full moon partial eclipse in Capricorn. You can either die a caterpillar, or you can go through the weird transformative process and say, maybe I don't need to crawl anymore. Maybe I can be a butterfly, and maybe I can do whatever the hell I want, and I've been stopping myself. And now is the time to embrace that and, you know, do what makes you happy. Find, if you're confused and you just feel lost and aimless, do what makes you happy. Meditate on what you need and what you want. Do, like, exercise, be in nature, spend time with people who care about you, spend time with yourself, learn to love yourself, you know, learn what it is that would make you happy. Find creative outlets, find ways to express yourself and feel like how you're feeling. Put it into a way that you can comprehend it, so that you can come out so much stronger on the other side. It might feel like you're at the bottom of a swimming pool and you don't know how to get up and you don't really want to, but you don't want to drown. But, you know, just swim. Just swim, and eventually, if you're swimming in the right direction, you'll hit air. I don't know if that makes sense. I think it does. I think it does. Keep in mind, I am filming this during the eclipse evening, so if I'm not making sense, what can you do? Anyways, that's it for me. If you feel like commenting or sharing or subscribing or liking, and I hate being the person to say that, that would be super cool. And yeah, just if you want to do anything for yourself tonight, so all over the place. If you want to do anything for yourself tonight, just, you know, take a salt bath, relax, meditate, do like a breath work session. If you know what that is, you're like, yeah. If you don't, you're like, I'll breathe. And like listen to music that calms you down, write, go for a walk, but be careful because people are going to be all over the place, and so just like pay attention when you're crossing the street. It's just people tend to get hurt on this full moon because everyone's just feeling things and kind of aimless. It doesn't matter. So just yeah, just focus on yourself, and you know that you're beautiful, and that everything that's happening that feels awful right now is happening so that you can be that phoenix, be that butterfly, be you, be the you that you want to be and that you need to be, that the you that's burning inside of you to come out, and you'll make it through. Okay, thanks.